Step on up here, brother, right there.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm gonna cry. Come on.
What do you think, dude?
Oh my God. Brother, you're not here just to tell me hi.
That's Drew Pearson getting the word from David Baker and the ultra distinctive voice of Jerry Jones in the background. That had to be Jerry Jones when you got the news. Here he is, Drew Pearson, one of the new members of the Hall of Fame. Drew, congratulations. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me and having me as a Hall of Famer. Feels pretty good.
Let's set that stage. Let's let people understand that moment when you find out. Like, did you get lured somewhere under false pretenses? Was this like a surprise party type of a thing? How did you get to the point where that gigantic human named David Baker shows up with the news?
Well, you said it right first. I got lured into it. And I got a letter from Rich Dalrymple, the PR guy from the Cowboys, addressed to Roger and I, requesting a meeting at the 25th at 2 p.m. And so we both confirmed. We went over there. Roger and I kind of pulled into the parking lot at the same time, and he didn't give me any indication what might be going on. I'm a little upset with my quarterback for that. But we went inside and met Rich and went into the room next to the lobby, and Jerry was sitting there waiting. We sat down and talked for a little bit, and I didn't know what I was doing there because they were talking mostly about real estate, which they said in the letter that it might have something to do with that. That's why I thought it was so logical that Rob would be included because he's involved in some ventures with Mr. Jones. So anyway, they're talking, and all of a sudden, I heard that knock on the door, and Mr. Jones said, "Drew, go answer the door." I went and answered the door, and in that door well was Mr. David Baker. And you know, he can fill up a door well, and he filled it up, and he came in with a camera crew behind him. And I kind of had a feeling, I knew then what it was all about. And that's when the emotions started to flow. Then I look on the other side of the room, Roger and Jerry over there grinning, you know, like they ate the canary or something like that. And they got me good, but that's a good get. And I appreciate them taking the time to do it that way.
You broke up a little bit there as you were explaining when it was, but you mentioned to us off the air it was January 25th, which was a couple of weeks before it became official. How hard, Drew, to keep that secret for nearly 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'd rather play a game of NFL football, even against Mel Blount, than to try to hold that in for 2 weeks almost. It was very difficult. You know, my mouth was, when he told me, my mouth was like this. It was about ready to burst with wanting to tell somebody, you know. So I had to tell my kids. I told them, and I made them swear to secrecy. I told my oldest sister, my only sister, swear to secrecy, and I told a few my teammates. But that was it, and it was hard to keep because I kept getting requests for interviews, and in the interviews, of course, they're asking me if I know. And, you know, I'm not the guy that wants to lie or anything to anybody, but I kind of just danced around it as best I could to try to make their article appear like, you know, I didn't know, or it was anticipating, the anticipation was still there. But it was hard to keep in, no doubt. And all the guys did it. You know, it was remarkable how it really never leaked out to social media or the media, period. And that's a tribute to all the guys. And that's the kind of class we have, you know, guys with a lot of character. When you tell them to do something, they do it.
Drew, you came so close in January of 2019 on that Centennial class when your former teammate Cliff Harris got in and Jimmy Johnson got in on that class too. We saw your disappointment and your anger at not getting in at that point. Now, full circle, a year from then, you get in again. 2 years later, I guess it was. Did that make this more special, just the fact that you thought you were going to get in a couple of years ago and didn't?
Well, you know what made it special is I didn't have to wait that long after that disappointment. You know, I wasn't angry. Yeah. I was just disappointed. I wasn't angry. I would never be angry at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I have too much respect for that. But I was disappointed. And it did break my heart because first time I've ever been a finalist. And I thought that would be my way to get in and maybe the only way. So it was a big disappointment. But guys, I only had to wait 8 months. Here comes August. I'm all anticipating that to happen, and it didn't happen. I had everybody in my house before anticipating as well, and it didn't happen. Then 8 months later in August, I'm out doing yard work, lawn work, and I get a call, a text message from Rick Gosselin saying, answer your phone when it rings. And then when it rang, it was Mr. David Baker telling me I was the lone senior nominee for the class of 2021. So I didn't have to worry or wait that long for what I thought was a disappointment get corrected with the announcement that Mr. Baker made.
You were first team All-Decade on the 1970s All-Decade team. Normally, that's a rubber stamp to get right into the Hall of Fame. 33 years is a long time to wait, Drew. Why do you think it took so long for you to get in as a first team All-Decade player?
I'm not sure. I never had gotten any answers or any explanation for that. I just feel like I'm just like one of the other guys, especially when you get in the senior category. Sometimes you get lost in the shuffle. And a lot of guys are worthy of that and that senior category, but just get lost in the shuffle. And now I guess with the new rule, with one senior coming in a year, that logjam for that senior category or getting in through that door is going to be even greater and tougher to get through. So, I think it had something to do with that. But when I found out that I was All-Decade, Harvey Martin made second team All-Decade, we talked, and that would be our end to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And we just wanted to compound on that and try to add to, what we could do on the field to add to that, to guarantee that, to make sure that would happen. But it didn't happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. I can't run any more pass routes, catch any more balls. I'd like to at these prices that they're paying nowadays, but they don't want any 70-year-old wide receivers out there. But it is what it is, and that's part of my legacy. That's part of what it's all about. My path to the Hall of Fame.
You've got the one Super Bowl ring from the 77 season. The Cowboys were in 2 other Super Bowl games during your career. I feel like what happened with the 70s was the Steelers had those 4 wins, and they hogged up so many of the bronze busts with their guys, it made it harder for other guys to get in.
Yeah, I heard that, and a lot of Steelers did get in, and they said if we had beaten the Steelers in those Super Bowls that, we'd have more Cowboys in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But, come on, give me a break. I played seasons, made the playoffs 10 of those 11 seasons. Of those 10 playoff appearances, played in NFC Championship games. Those were mostly all in the 70s. Ended up playing in 3 Super Bowls, all in the 70s. So, we had success, and we had individuals that definitely warranted Hall of Fame recognition. That's why we had some guys going to the Hall of Fame. Roger Staubach, Rayfield Wright, Tony Dorsett, just to name a few, Mel Renfro, just to name a few. So, we had the quality athletes just like they did. And, you can't judge one group of people on somebody else's success, and then the other group, you don't judge them on all success. There's a lot of guys in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, not saying they're not Hall of Famers, but there's some guys in the Pro Football Hall of Fame never played in a Super Bowl, never played in a championship game. Maybe some never even played in a playoff game. But they lumped us like that because of that time in the 70s. And the Steelers were so great. They were a great team. That's why they beat us. That's the only way they could beat us, by being a great team. But they were so great that they lumped us with them. And they said, well, you can't beat them, so they should have more guys into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's just me thinking. I don't know if that's their logic or anything like that, but, that's just the way it appears sometimes.
One of the most fun aspects of getting into the Hall of Fame has to be the bust and the creation of the bust and sitting for that. Have you heard from anyone yet about that process? And have you given any thought to the facial expression you're going to go with?
Oh, yeah, I've gotten measured already. We got measured last Saturday while we were at the Super Bowl. And that was a pretty cool experience. They measure everything. They measure your lips, your eyebrows, your nose, how long your ears are, and all that kind of stuff. And I told the guy who's from Texas, I forgot his name, but he's from Texas. He does these every year. And I told him, you got to do my bust throw. Don't put me in there like this, okay? Nobody would recognize me. But you put me in that afro I had back in the day. Then people were recognize. Yeah, that's Drew Pearson. That was one of my signature trademarks, my afro, back in the day. So my bust will have an afro on it. And that's one of the highlights of the weekend. Sitting down there while you're getting measured for your bust, you're thinking, wow, how cool is this? This is being measured for a bust for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And you got Peyton Manning over there. You got Charles Woodson waiting their turn to get their bust measured. So it was a pretty cool experience going through that bust measurement.
Have you decided on your presenter yet, Drew? I know you have a lot of choices for that.
Yeah, you're right, Charlene. I got a lot of choices. I haven't decided yet. I know if they were here with us, it would be either Coach Tomlin or my good friend, roommate for 11 seasons with the Cowboys. We came in the league together. We retired together. That's Harvey Martin. But God rest their souls. Unfortunately, they're not with us. So now it goes to what I call the next level. And, of course, Roger Staubach, my quarterback's involved in that mix. And then I got three beautiful kids, Tori, Brittany, and Jared. They would do a tremendous job presenting their dad. And then, guys, I grew up with three brothers and three sisters, and I got one older sister left, and she would do a great job presenting her brother as well. So I haven't decided yet, but those are the three in the mix, three scenarios in the mix.
What current receiver, Drew, most resembles your playing style from back then? We know about the Drew zone of you going across the middle.
None. Nobody goes.
No.
Nobody goes over it anymore.
That's awesome.
There. But I like if there's anybody you want to compare me to is Larry Fitzgerald. Not so much our styles or anything, but anything like that. But being a consummate pro, I always thought I was a consummate pro, always there for my team. And there's no question Larry Fitzgerald is the consummate pro. You see it the way he acts, not just on the field, but what he means to that team, that organization, and to those young players. So if you want to compare me to any receiver today, compare me to Larry Fitzgerald, because I got a lot of respect for him and what he's done in his career, what he continues to do. I don't even think he's announced his retirement yet. I guess he's expected to play another season. So I got if you want to compare me to anybody, compare me to Mr. Larry Fitzgerald.
Hey, Drew, we've had you on here before, and we had some fun about one of your biggest career highlights, a certain catch that you made in Minnesota in the playoffs in 1975. There's another play that caught my attention today, though. The Old Time Football account tweeted out the Tony Dorsett 99.5-yard touchdown run when the Cowboys had 10 guys on the field early 1983. And there's Drew Pearson busting his butt 65 yards down the field with the lunging block that popped the thing open for Dorsett. What a hustle play that was.
Yeah, it was, and it didn't start out that way, Mike, because we had 10 men on the field, and, we knew that, I said, this play is not going to go anywhere. And, so we ran the snap anyway because time was running out, and it was just a straight handoff to Tony Dorsett. And I just came jogging off the line because I'm thinking about heading to the bench, and we're going to punt the football after that play. Tony burst through there, and I said, oh, Lord, I better get on my horse. And I took off and tried to lead that interference for Tony. But, Tony had so many runs where he broke out into daylight and out in the open like that. Kind of knew how I would handle those blocks downfield. And it was always a bump, and then throw. And he read that, and when I threw, that's when he went around me. So that combination of he and I playing together since 1977 and him having so many long-distance runs helped us in that situation. I also knew after he scored a touchdown, I better hustle down to be the first one to congratulate, because that's going to be in a record book. That's going to be in the Hall of Fame. And I figured that might be my only way to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. When I spot Tony Dorsett, congratulating him in the end zone. So, yeah, I was the first one down there.
That play's in the Hall of Fame. Dorsett's in the Hall of Fame. Drew Pearson's going to be in the Hall of Fame. And for anybody out there who doesn't remember what Drew looked like in the 70s, if you're younger and you've just discovered football recently, there it is. That's what the bust is going to look like. There's Drew with the afro. So, hey, Drew, congratulations, and it was long overdue. We're very happy for you, and we look forward to the day when we get to see the bust, see the jacket, and hear what you have to say on your way into the Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you guys having me. And Charlene, thank you so much for your support, and I appreciate you so much.
Congratulations.
Okay? This is Pearson, the original number 88, Hall of Famer 2021. Wow, so nice to say that. Thank you, guys. God bless.
All right, congratulations. There he is, Drew Pearson.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.